can my kids wake up and say, I want to be an influencer?
You don't have to be perfect. I tell people when I'm like running late to a movie premiere and my dress ripped in the car or something, like just not being perfect, because I felt like that's all I saw is the like polished, get ready with me.
You're an influencer on social media as well as an actor. Are there different pressures for both ends, and do you feel like they kind of collide together in a sense?
Yeah. Where it gets challenging is because Wes thinks he's the best director. But I may have better ideas. That's where we fight. Because he's like, no, you need to shoot it this way. And I'm like, no, I think this way's better.
Okay, people are going to see the path water there because they're seeing my ass. And I'm just going to put this in between my cheeks.
Yeah.
That was a little crazy.
I spend so much time talking to my clients about the importance of proper nutrition outside of the gym. And the number one area of struggle is not getting enough protein. So Boss and Kevin developed Vita Hustle One superfoods for this very reason. This plant-based blend contains 86 superfood ingredients that support muscle recovery and overall well-being. It's not just about what you do in the gym, it's also about how you fuel your body. So try Vita Hustle One superfood in vanilla bean, dark cocoa, which is my fave, or superfood greens in the popular berry flavor. Use code MEAGAIN for 15% off your first order.
Hey everyone, it's me again, your host Dominique, and my girl
Nature.
We are excited for today's episode. We have a really great guest on. She is so peaceful and calming, but she has quite an influence on Instagram and other social sites. She's an influencer and actress making a huge impact, and we are so excited to have her on to talk about all things social media, but also upholding your values while having that presence. So Brandi Marie King is here with us. Thanks, girl.
Thank you for having me, lady.
You're so
Of course,
sweet.
Brandi.
And your eyes, it's like mesmerizing.
You could fall into them.
I wish they had powers. I've tried. Nothing happens.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure with Wes, right? His ass.
Yeah,
always
he'll
with his-
deny it. But he, like, when I first met him, I thought it was kind of weird because everybody normally makes some sort of compliment, or like guys, like that's their way. Like, oh, let me see, like try to get close to my face. Just, I know all the tricks. And he didn't say anything. And I'm just like, hello? Like, and he was just like, they're all right.
Acknowledge them.
And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah.
Girl, he
tried
was
to be
into that.
different. Yeah.
I love it. So today we have a topic. Of course, every episode we have a topic. So the meaning of personal values and how they impact your life. Okay, so I guess we can first start off by saying, like, what are things that are our own personal values that we try and uphold and keep in our daily life?
Yeah.
And then I want you to really go into today with social media. Like, how hard is it to uphold those values and
Yeah.
and have this presence and build a brand, but stay true to your authentic self, you know? So what would you say?
Wait, starting off with
What are your values?
your
what are my
values?
values? Okay, so I feel like it really comes from like growing up with a big family that was like really close together. So loyalty, respect, like respecting elders was huge. And being honest. My dad, like ever since I was little, my dad, like one of his biggest things was like if I lied about something, like the biggest issue, like it would be something small, like, did you brush your teeth? Because I wanted to keep playing my PlayStation or something. And I'd be like, yes. And if I lied, I got in so much trouble. Like, he was always big on lying. So I learned early on not to lie, not to, I would just say respect, loyalty, honesty, and then it's so cliche, but like trying to stay true to yourself, which I've learned a lot through social media, like not just trying to go with the crowd.
It's so funny because when you say your dad being big on lying, I had that same exact
Really?
Same.
situation to the point
Wow.
where I can remember the
Yeah.
times that I did lie, and it was like a whole thing. I took his scissors out of his office because I wanted to cut and do some artwork, and I forgot to put them back.
See,
And I was so scared to tell him that I didn't go in for and ask for permission that I told him, no, I can't find them. And so obviously they're in my room.
yeah.
And I remember he was so disappointed that you wouldn't just come clean and just let me know.
Yeah.
Right. And so just that value of being honest and trustworthy. When I
That's huge.
saw as my life continued and if there were bigger mistakes, the level of comfort that I had to come to him and come to my mom about things that I might have effed up on
Yeah.
was instilled in me. There was more of an open relationship. I feel like when you first get into that lying element, it kind of just ruins your whole relationship with whoever that's
Yeah.
with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whether it's a family member or it's a partner, it just breaks the trust in the relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of translates in other aspects of your life. Would you say? Like, what value system did you feel like you grew
I
up with?
definitely, for sure. I feel like growing up, my father instilled a lot of us. He was always giving us some type of lesson. Like, you're going to school, he's dropping you off, he's saying the same thing. Keep your mouth closed, your eyes open. Like, just like every day. Like,
One-liners.
just one-liners, just we'll spit them out. But we were really raised to be like loyal, like trustworthy. Staying true to yourself was a big one. Don't change for nobody because that
Yeah.
person's doing it. Don't just do it. Just because it's your friend, don't do it. So I think right now, my biggest like focus in values right now is staying true to myself because of the change up of my life.
Right.
That's like a huge thing for me because I'm not changing for nobody.
Yeah.
Like even with the makeup thing.
Yep.
You know, like I don't wear makeup. You don't know me much, but I'll let you know. I don't really do the makeup
Yeah.
thing. But I've bent a little bit. But I won't.
Am I taking responsibility for this?
But for me, it's like, all right, I'll do it. But it goes back to like staying true to who I am. It's not
Yeah.
me though, so you will not catch me outside. Like I might go to a party. I was about to go to a party on Thursday. Tuesday. I was not about to wear no makeup, and it was a Grammy party too. You probably would have smacked me.
Major.
But yeah, just like staying true to who I am. You know, being honest, being trustworthy, just being an authentic, genuine, just human. For
Same
me.
thing too, like coming from my mom was loyalty and like not being messy.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
girls especially, which
Yeah.
again translates to this podcast and like who we have on it and the conversation that we want to have together is more in a light of positivity, encouragement, building
Yeah.
each other up, creating a community. And I feel like my mom was never the one who was the messy female and having all these friends and the drama this
Yeah.
and the this. It's like she instilled in me like, Dom, you don't have to be doing it. She doesn't call me Dom. Dominique, you don't have, she hates Dom. You don't have to be doing that. You know, Dominique, like you build your friends, you stay loyal to those friendships. And if anyone wants to cross paths with you, just leave them alone. Bye. You know, next up. And that's kind of how I lived my life. Like I didn't have drama in my life. I was never that friend. Like the same friends I have now are the same girlfriends
that.
that I've had
Same.
forever. One of my friends, we were in the same class together in 4th grade, still, Avery.
See, that's why we get along.
You
'Cause
know?
I'm still friends with my 4th grade friends.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I'm friends with my 10th grade friend, guys. I mean, my 4th grade best friend, we still keep in contact, but it's not as,
Yep.
but my 10th grade best friend, we're
Yeah.
still rocking it for sure.
And I think those are the kind of that's what I loved when you talked about growing up, and that's the first value system that you really
Yeah.
grow
Parents.
up with is your parents and your siblings and all of that, because you're trialing life, right? And they're kind of monitoring, and so it sounds like all of us were really blessed to have a really sound system of like great values to
Yeah.
uphold, and we've been able to kind of translate that up into our adulthood. Because it's so funny, I think about the girls that were always in drama, always fighting, all that stuff. It's like I look at them now, it's like they're still doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
And it, like, as a grown woman with children, that looks terrible. That looks crazy, right?
Sometimes we gotta grow up sometime. Like
Yeah.
there's some point in your life you just gotta, all right, I'm gonna grow up now.
That part.
Yeah.
And so now that we've talked about like that beginning, for you, and this has been probably a reason why Nature's not on Instagram or is now just making an appearance.
Trying.
From my Instagram, it's like all that building a brand on Instagram. Like, how have you been able to navigate this like social media
Yeah.
space, uphold those values, and like what have been your key components to like building my brand or building your brand as Brandi? How cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like my story is really different from like people that kind of peaked in COVID and like joined like in the last few years, because I came from like a corporate world where my Instagram was private, like don't let my boss see it, don't let my parents see it. And then I moved to LA and randomly fell into social media. Like it wasn't the goal. Influencer wasn't a term yet. It was like during Vine days. So, and I met Wes, and we started doing sketches, and I was so weirded out. I was like, why don't you guys have jobs? Like, what are you doing? And they're just like, oh, come shoot. We're going to do like 10 videos today. Because back then it was like 6 seconds, and like you just had to like knock them out. And so it was so weird. So I remember the day I like made my page public, like from private, and then had to start tailoring it to like, okay, I actually have to be cute. I'm not just going to throw up a food picture. And then I fell into the trap of trying to do what every other girl was doing. Like Fashion Nova was like brand new, but all these girls were doing, you know, the photos in the jeans, like looking back, and I've been blessed with a little something. So I can jeans. I could do those pictures, but then when I started getting the comments, I was like, ew, like I don't want this.
I don't want that
attention.
to be my image. Yeah.
So then I started pulling back, and like guys and girls around me are like, you know, you got to start doing posts like this. Like, look at those analytics versus this one. I'm just like, I don't want to do that though. So I stopped growing as rapidly as like everybody around me.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. And at first, like, it's a whole numbers game, and like there's so many things that you go through mentally. It's like, well, if this is my job, then I got to do good. But then I don't want to be stuck in this like thirst trap type of thing. And then Instagram came out with video. So then we started doing longer sketches, and those started turning into like, oh my God, I caught my boyfriend cheating. Or like I was always playing the girl that some guy was trying to get, but like not, it was just like in an unflattering way. And then so I had to stop doing those sketches because I'm like, they just don't speak to me. I don't want to be that girl. And then another big thing was like cursing. Like I grew up, if I would have said, damn, like I would have got knocked into next week. Like no cursing household. My parents didn't curse. I never heard it. If it was on the TV, I would have to shut it off. It would be like a Nickelodeon movie, and they would say, dang, like something that sounded like a curse word. It's like, turn it off. I'm like, come on.
Fork.
So now even if like when I get scripts and it's like I have to curse, I just feel so dumb. Like I can't curse good. Like, because it's so unnatural. So that was another thing. Or just like people would want me to be like, F you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I can't. I'm going to look silly. I can't say it right. So yeah, it took a while to just accept like I'm not going to conform to this. And then I started seeing the blessings that like came from it. Like now I can work with Disney. Like I work with them all the time. 80% of my friends are like, why don't they ask me to do anything? I'm like, well, this is a family company.
You're selling sex, girlfriend.
Yes. And you're saying this and you're doing that. And so, yeah. And it just feels natural. Like that I didn't like try to be this X-rated sexy girl. Like I have levels to me, but it just helped like remembering that, okay, my grandma's on Instagram. Let me post what she won't yell at me for.
I mean, I gotta say, that's really refreshing to hear. I have to say, because I just feel like, and especially now, I mean, and you started how long ago?
2015.
Okay, so from 2015 to now, the change, it's almost 10 years. It's like astronomical, right? It's like a completely different Instagram now.
1,000%. Because when I was on it, it was like you were saying, post your food. You're posting this stupid picture. Here's me and my dog. And now I go, well, I mean, not that I ever signed out of it. Like I've always kind of scrolled a little bit and then just like live. But now getting back into it, I'm like, this is like a whole theatrics here.
And
like I gotta have
every week.
all the
it's
time.
Like annoying.
Well, for you, Brandi, what I'm thinking, it's like as she was talking about the way she started building her presence, it's layered, right? Because you didn't just go on and say, okay, I want to be an influencer and let me just post my body up and just empty pictures and just try and get, okay, people are going to see the path water there because they're seeing my ass and I'm just going to put this in between my cheeks. Yeah. That was a little crazy.
But you followed.
But it's like, you would be shocked. It's like the whole time it's an ass shot and then the ass reveals.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this is crazy what I'm watching now. I mean, what's next? But also I'm seeing that you truly have a talent for acting and being able, because girl, if I could not be on a skit. I would be acting such a goofball. I couldn't take it
that's
serious.
Good though.
But no, you truly have a talent with that. So it's like, did you get into it and then realize, oh, I'm actually kind of good at this. This is kind of like, I'm comfortable in this space on the video behind or in front of the camera, that kind of thing. Like, did you always have that comfortability? Were you always great at that, or did you kind of start developing these skills?
So I don't know where it came from, but ever since I was a kid, I was obsessed with the entertainment world. Like, if I could sing, it would be over. Oh. Like, I was obsessed with award shows, like anything concert. Like, I would record it on my VHS. Now I'm telling my age. But so then I was like, how do I get in front of the camera? But I remember, because I used to dance when I was younger, like, I don't know, middle school through college. And so I have cousins that are out here. They didn't even finish high school, I don't think, because they all of a sudden went on tour with Britney Spears. And so I would be glued to the TV watching MTV like, oh my gosh, they made it. I can do that. So then I started hinting around to my mom like, all right, I want to take more dance classes. I want to do this. And that was the first time I felt like pushback. Like, she would let me do whatever. If it was gymnastics, cheer, basketball, whatever. But then all of a sudden, like, on both sides, my mom and dad's side, they were like, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to move to LA. And I'm just like, why is everybody talking me out of it? And it's because they were so afraid of LA and like, you're going to get turned out and do all this stuff.
The stereotype.
So then I was like, well, I got to find my way in the entertainment industry somehow. So then when I went to college, I was like, I'll do like journalism. I thought I wanted to do news. And then I had an internship with NBC at like 4 a.m. morning news. And I was like, oh, this is not it. Like, I got to pick a car crash or a kidnapping. Like, no, I don't want to talk about this. This isn't it. So then I was like, entertainment news. So, but the whole time I knew I wanted to act, I just didn't tell my family. So I was secretly taking like acting classes and improv. And like, I just wasn't going to change my major because then I wouldn't hear the end of it. And so I was doing that on the low, kind of prepping because I knew I would end up in LA. So by the time I got here and figured out, oh, I can't just go get a job at E! News because 10 million people want to do that. I turned into a PA. So I was still on set, still learning things in front, behind. And then I had kind of a movie moment where I was like, this isn't real life. But I was working on set for like Pharrell's music video, and then the director, Paul Hunter, who has done like Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, like I was such a fan of his. He was like, I'm going to need you on set tomorrow. Like just like that. No audition, no submission. I was like, what? And so they were looking for like the National Geographic Indian looking girl. And they went all the way to India and could not find anybody with the eyes. So I'll never forget, he took his flip phone. He took a picture of me like this. And he was like, I'll send that to Pharrell and I'll get back to you. I was like, what? So then I get an email that night that's like, you're on set, hair and makeup's at blah, blah, blah. Freedom. So he was doing all these shots of like people around the world and they could not find this girl. And then so I show up on set. All my like coworker friends are pissed because they're like, what do you want for lunch, Brandi? Like, I was just working with them the day before. Now I'm in the chair, like, I'll have a salad. Like, it was just like, this doesn't happen. Like, so then I was like, oh, I made it now. Yeah. So I called my mom and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a movie star. It didn't happen like that at all. The next week, I was back to PAing on another set. But, like, that was my first taste of, like, what it's like to be on set and on the other side. So I'm like, okay, yeah. I like this. I wasn't nervous. Like, I just got through it. And then that's when I met like everybody doing social media on the side. So I was like, I might as well do this while I'm still like auditioning and acting. I'm still on camera every day. And it was weird at first because like internet comedy is not acting comedy. You got to do things quicker. It's a little cheesier. It's a little forced because you don't have like 2 hours in a movie to get to the point. So it took adjusting to, but like the best times that we have are when it's just improv and we're like laughing like for real at each other. Like if I don't think my video's funny, I'm not gonna post it.
Right.
So
That's
now
a
I
talent,
forgot your
though.
question. Did I answer?
No, I mean I forgot my question as well, but it was great to get all of that background. I was basically just saying that you have an actual talent. You're not
Yeah.
just out there posting,
Yeah. Yeah,
what
because
most girls are posting
it
on
wasn't a
Instagram.
thing yet. There was no brand deal. Like it was the wild, wild west. We were doing it literally for fun. There was no benefit yet. Nobody's verified accounts,
Right.
like
And that's where
nothing
it's
like
like
that.
the true authenticness. It's not just like a pretty face. It's like there's meaning behind me.
Are you ready to elevate your mac and cheese game to a whole new level of deliciousness and nutrition? Look no further because Goodles has arrived. It doesn't just taste good, but it's the new healthy mac and cheese I feed my boys, including my husband. Goodles has changed the way you think about noodles with their clean ingredients and packing each box full of 21 nutrients from organic plants, 14 grams of protein, and 7 grams of fiber per serving, and prebiotics to support your gut health. Goodles currently comes in 11 different flavors, including a vegan mac and 2 gluten-free options. They're the first box mac and cheese ever to receive the Clean Label Purity Award certification. That means that their final product has been tested by a third party for over 400 contaminants, and they determined Goodles met their highest standards. Goodles is also a low glycemic index food, so it gives you steady energy instead of a carb crash. Say goodbye to bland, uninspired pasta dishes. Goodles is here to shake things up. Goodles are your go-to noodles that are not only tasty, but also packed with goodness. And trust us, it's not just for kids. Goodles is a hit with the whole family. To learn more, visit goodles.com today.
So like being that you're an influencer on social media as well as an actor, do you feel are there different pressures for both ends, and do you feel like they kind of collide together in a sense?
Yeah, I've experienced like good and bad. Like when influencer was just coming out, the acting world was like, "Oh, you're an influencer." So when I'd go to auditions and they'd ask for my following, it would be good for commercials because then they know your audience will want to see you. But then when it was for film, I just wasn't taken serious, like
Right.
already off the page. So that sucked because it's just like, I know you're judging me before I
You
even
actually
like,
give me the opportunity.
yeah. And I've
Yeah.
even had agents and managers that I've had to like let go because they would want me to stop social media. And I'm just like, but this is my job. This is how I make a living. So I have to keep it going. And then as the algorithms change and get more pressure, like it went from posting once a day and now TikTok's like, oh, you need to post 5 times a day to grow. Like, yeah, it's insane.
So
Oh my
that's actually
goodness.
something good to get into. I'm actually really intrigued on this. Not that I would ever be able to do something like this, but I am interested in being that you're experiencing this. What are the tips if someone wanted to build a brand, right? And let's get over like what they're actually trying to push. But
Yeah.
say they're trying to build an authentic brand.
You can use me as an example. Come on.
Nature needs to know. Instagram. How often do you post? Do you have to comment? Do you have to be on there all damn day? It's like it's a full-time job,
Yeah.
really. So like what is the answer?
Okay, this is hard because it's constantly changing and I know what to do, but I don't even get these goals. Like I don't even hit these marks every day because the life of like getting all the content and then editing and posting, like that would take me 24 hours every day. So it's like I have so many unedited photos, videos, things in my phone just because I don't have time. And Wes and I actually just got an editor because we're so behind. But it's, I would say first, like figure out the top 3 things that you want to talk about because I feel like the days of just doing one thing, one like character on social media are over. I have so many friends that are burned out. They started off like doing impersonations in a wig or something. Now it's like that's only what people expect and you can't really get brands with that. And so pick like 3 things that you can kind of have a rotation. So it's like for me, I do like movies, a little bit of beauty, and then like lifestyle, which is like includes travel, like some family, but it's like you don't want to burn yourself out and like stop having fun. having kind of a schedule with yourself. Like if you want to post once a day, or if that's too much, like build up to that at least. But like set goals for yourself. Like some people batch shoot, which means like they'll spend, 3 days making all these videos and then they just have that to post the next 3 days and then you start over. So like some sort of schedule, because it's going to get overwhelming. And then I know people are going to not agree with this, but I would pick like 2 or 3 platforms. I have never been able to tackle them all. Snapchat's made a comeback, so there's Snapchat, there's
Really?
Twitter, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Facebook. Like there's no way to hit all of those every day, like perfectly. And some platforms you might not even like.
Right.
Like I've been trying to get on Snapchat, but I was so into it back then, and then I stopped and I realized how hard it is for me. Even though it's like Instagram stories, I don't know why I like doing Instagram stories more.
So
than,
what
like,
platforms are you on?
my top 2 are Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
And then I loved YouTube, but it just takes longer, like longer content. But I do want to get back into it. It's just having the formula for that as well. That's more run like a TV show. Like you got to have certain days that you upload.
So I'm
Right.
like, she's sparking so many things with me. I'm Boss and I were just actually talking about this. Is we're living right in this time where everyone feels like they can do social media, right? Everyone feels like they can have some sort of influence. They can have a presence. They can be an influencer. They can have a podcast. They can do whatever. What are your thoughts on that? Can everyone really do it? Do you have to have something unique? Do you, like, is it the it factor? You know what I mean? Similar to
Yeah.
like, not, there are plenty of actors out there. There are plenty of, even with Kev, I see like, Kev has the it factor.
Yeah.
But then he has so many other great people who are funny as hell and they're great writers, but it's a different punchline when you go on stage, right? So is it a similar thing, right, within the influencer category or social media? Can my kids wake up and say, I want to be an influencer, and easily do it by following kind of the steps? You know what I mean?
I think overall, yes, but I think there are people who think they are cut out for it and they're not because they're motivated by the wrong thing, kind of. So I have a lot of PR that I get, and I get messages all the time like, ooh, I want to be an influencer so I can get free stuff. And I really feel like that would be something they'd start just to do, like just to get free stuff. And I'm just like, if that's your goal, like, no, it's not going to work and you're not going to last.
Yeah.
You have to be able to, especially in today's world, not when I started, but because people just want to know everything about you, you have to be willing to like share a little bit more, I feel like, than I thought I would back then, especially with like stories and just the pressure of posting as much. So you have to be comfortable with like sharing a little bit more, I would say, unless you're like a Beyonce, where it's like we're excited when she posts because she doesn't share everything. But I kind of miss that too.
That like
I don't
mystery-ish.
Yeah, I don't like knowing what you do every single day, all day, because then it just gets like you have to keep also leveling up and topping that, and it's like, now what?
But by the way, that's like one of the things that we're talking about, the biggest celebrities in the world. There's a piece of that which makes them the biggest celebrities in the world, because it's almost like people are desperate for it. They're like, you get that element of like, you're so obsessed, like, I need to see what's next. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Well, of course, we have the Kardashians and stuff who post their whole life and they have that same celebrity. But when you talk about stars, it's like, I know Rihanna used to be on social, then she like was like, F you guys type of thing. And then she came back. But it's like when Rihanna posts a story and she's like talking in it, you're like what's she saying?
Exciting.
You know, you're like, you're getting an insight into like who she is.
Yeah.
But we were just thinking about it because we're living in different times. Like kids aren't saying, oh, I want to go be a, fireman.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, my parents are influencers. I want to be an influencer, and I want to do that. And even this, I mean, again, this is something new, and I'm so excited to like build like a little community together. But like Knox and Cade were in here, and they were like, I want to talk on the mic. Like they were excited to come and like say some things, and can you
that
hear
is
me? And put on
funny.
Rob's headphones and like, the whole thing. And so we are raising a different type of generation. I'm just wondering how that's going to pan out. Like,
Yeah,
is
I
there a
don't-
space for everybody?
There's definitely space online, but the more saturated it gets, the more you're just gonna be buried like
Yep.
with everybody
Everybody
else.
else.
That's why I feel like it depends on what your subject is.
Right.
Like there's this lady I follow on TikTok and she only does cleaning TikTok and I'm obsessed. I don't have a 10-bedroom house like her, but I say videos like, oh, when I need to clean my third oven, this is what I got to do. Like, and it makes no sense because like I never thought I would like be obsessed with a cleaning TikTok
Right.
page, but like it does really well and she gets sponsorships with like all cleaning products. But it's like if that's what you really enjoy and really want to do, I feel like it could happen in that lane. But if you're like, I'm going to be on social media and I'm going to be an actor, like then the pool gets way shorter because the chances of that versus cleaning are just like,
And a lot of people, I feel like, want to be on social media because they're lazy as hell and they think that,
It's
you're
easy.
interested.
It's the easy way
the
out.
entrepreneurship after 2020. Yeah, I feel like everybody thinks it's easy. That's why I'm like, then it's, are you cut out for it? You may want to, but then when you realize there's no Monday through Friday, like I'm working, like everything is content. I have to think about like, would this be good to shoot? When am I going to post that? Oh, it can't be too late. Like you have to just be on it 24/7 and social media is getting more and more demanding. So
Yep.
it's just,
Which is why I think a lot of females go to, let me just post my body because I don't have to think about that. I can just
and it's
post the
easy.
body. If I get some likes, I can get these
Yeah.
workout brands. I can create a program. I mean, it's becoming that space, which, by the way, do
That
you?
makes me agitated.
Don't-
Oh, everyone got a fucking program. Everyone's a trainer. Shit.
I
Tell
do
us how
not
you
like
really
that,
feel.
but let me tell you.
But since you have like a very strong, like, I'm staying true to who I am. I'm not taking ass shots and I'm not doing
Yeah.
all that. What are some like what's like the messages, like the underlying, like your message that you trying to kind of convey and get across to your audience?
Yeah.
Like the overall.
I don't know. I actually was thinking about that a lot lately because like if somebody asks, I get asked like almost every day, what do you do or what's your content about? And I don't have just like one line. It's like I've tried to work on not being like the pretty girl next door that just goes to movie premieres. So like I've tried to show more about my life. Like I love pranking. It's random, but like my dream is me and my brother have a prank show. So I'll post like me pranking my grandma and people love it. And I'm just like, I could have been doing this for so long, but I thought it like didn't fit my aesthetic. So I feel like it's just more having fun, like especially
It
talking
gives you
about
character, by the way.
Oh, thank you. The back to the makeup thing, when I was doing sketches back then, it was like against the law to do anything without makeup on. So I would have to get glammed every day. Not like forced, but I just felt like if I showed up with just a little brow gel mascara, that wouldn't be it. So then I was like, let me just start doing videos and stories like 6 a.m. on my way to the gym. I don't care. Like, so then that became a new thing where it's just like, you don't have to be perfect. I tell people when I'm like running late to a movie premiere and my dress ripped in the car or something, like just not being perfect because I felt like that's all I saw is the like polished, oh, get ready with me. And I'm just like, no, I know you didn't get ready like that perfectly.
Nope, I would have got.
So-
I got frustrated a little bit while I was doing my hair. I might have thrown the brush because
Yeah.
it wasn't going the right way. Like,
I say all the time, I was like, I couldn't even film for you guys because I'm late. My room's a mess. I couldn't find my lashes. I just had to go to CVS and put them on in the car. Like, I'll show that. Like, Wes driving, I'm like, slow down. Like, because.
Right.
So I think it's just more, that's my thing is like not being perfect, still like chasing what you want to do, and just not getting comfortable. Like, I don't feel like I've made it. I feel like I'm still chasing things. So when people are like, oh, I can't wait to do what you do, or like I'm just like, but I'm not even there yet.
Right.
Like I'm still going after things.
You're still growing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good question that we were first initially talking about, and we were going to ask you afterwards, but we're going in that direction. Is being a woman in the space, do you feel like women give too much access? Like men have too much access to women
I love this
influencers on the internet, on social media?
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting back then with Snapchat, when I would get sent pictures I didn't ask for. Like, if you don't have my number, you shouldn't be able to send me things
That's
like
crazy.
this. I've had so many celebrities, athletes in my DMs, like just offering the craziest things. And I'm just like, you've never even met me. And you just get to like access me like this. So my answer is yes, it's
And so
wild.
the importance of making sure that your representative is representing you the way you want to be treated. You know what I mean? And that's like a whole nother conversation of what women expect versus and what they put out there.
Yeah,
versus,
it's so obvious. So it doesn't make sense.
it's just
It
a
just
hot
doesn't
mess,
make
and
sense.
we'll like
Yeah.
carry on with that. But like, talk about, because you've mentioned Wes, so like your guys' dynamic, who he is for those that are listening, and I know he has his platforms, and you guys have platforms together. So talk about that and your
Yes.
partner in this whole thing.
Wes is my partner in crime, boyfriend for years. He's the one that started me in social media. Yeah, I fought against it. I don't know if he'll tell you this. He taught me how to take a selfie.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Not him knowing your angles, girl.
What?
Back
All right, teach
then-
me the ways. Go ahead.
No, it was like the old school, like these
Yeah.
selfies, but I had never done it. I couldn't even hold my phone right. I was like this. And so he was just like, no, you got to do this. So he went to film school. His goal was to be a director, and kind of like me, he fell into social media. He started filming King Batch's Vines and YouTube videos. And then one day they put him in a sketch and people were like, who's that funny guy? So then they were like, oh, you should do videos. And then he turned into a whole character. He also grew up in Japan, so he has like anime influence and all of that. So working with him, I feel like it's probably the best because like when I was in Sacramento, still interested in entertainment and trying to move to LA, my boyfriend at the time was like, I'd never live in LA and I don't understand why you want to do this. And so I can already see how that would have like not worked out when people don't understand your job or want no interest in it. So the fact that we're both in it together, we both have like professional schooling about it. Cause like I majored in media communications and like I said, did acting and stuff. So it's not like we're just winging it. Like we knew for a while that this is what we wanted to do. It works out. Like people are like, dang, you live with somebody who's always going to give you the best shot, the best photo, know how to light you. And I'm like, I know I'm lucky. So I'm lucky in that way. Where it gets challenging is because Wes thinks he's the best director. But I may have better ideas. That's where we fight. Because he's like, no, you need to shoot it this way. And I'm like, no, I think this way's better. So then it's just like, just because you're the director, I don't have to do it your way. So, but it's like petty little fights like that where we might be like, no, I want to do it like this. Like Kev sent us the box for,
Gran Carmina?
no, the movie. Why can't I remember it? Lift. Thank you.
We're
I
having
can't
some
remember
brain
any
fog
names.
today.
Oh, for the movies. Yes. For Lift.
And so we wanted to make it like I'm a spy in my head. Also, I've also been sharing that on social media. Like if I could be a secret agent, I would do it right now. Like drop everything and be like Mission Impossible. So I was like, we gotta find the box and like make it like the movie Lift. And he was like, we should do it like this. And you gotta knock me out. I was like, that's not how it would go down. Like I gotta kick the gun out of your hand. So like it's not real, but like I take it serious and then like we end up collabing. But it's just stuff like that where it can get.
So you have a creative household.
Yeah.
I love that.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Mine is the opposite. It's like dun dun dun. I am not an influencer. I am not a creative. I have not built.
You are a
brand.
creative, by the way.
Yeah, I'm like,
You
how
are
am I
creative,
on
by
your
the way.
podcast?
You are
and you're
creative.
not a creative.
Listen, I'm like, yo, I got a good idea, and then it's like, no, that wouldn't work. But then later on, by the way, I'm responsible for that shit.
Super fast.
I'm like, wow, interesting. This looks great.
Yeah.
Seen this before, heard this before. So it's like, weeks later or something like that. Like he just did this, sorry to break it to everybody and my husband, but he just did this video of him that everyone was cracking the hell up that he had the refrigerator or something's making a noise. He had his Panda ones in the pool while he was talking. And I was like, yo, you got to step in the pool with the shoes on.
Yeah.
And then like everyone was like going in and in.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say thank you to me for any of that. Like that was his
That was
jam.
all you.
But it was definitely like a collab.
Yeah.
Like, but can I get a little bit of
You
feature
should've got a
on that
tag.
collab?
Yeah.
Let me get some credit. So yeah, I could feel you on
I think
that.
you guys are, you just don't claim it. Like even when you guys post your unedited like videos with the kids, like I'll be dying. Like it's so natural and funny. Just don't think about it being a skit and then it's gonna be great.
Right. We're definitely, well, he has a different thing, but I definitely love the authentic space, the genuine vibes, because I feel like that's when women truly connect, right? It's like, or people in general truly connect, but it's like, I love seeing women like you on Instagram, or there was Mossy is like a fitness girl that I've always respected and loved on, like, just because she trains hard and she stays true to that without like over sexualizing herself. And I just think that's dope as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I'm not thinking about a variety of different women that are out there that do the same thing, but I'm so tired of seeing all of this stuff. And like for me, what we were just talking about earlier, it's like the perfect mom. Oh my gosh, she's got it all in order. And now that I'm like with these kids, I'm like, there's no fucking way. Sorry to cuss because I know your household. And
No,
grandma
not
would
that
not
anybody
approve.
can't cuss around me. I can't say it good.
Grandma would not approve, and I'm only cussing because I'm very like, I'm feeling like the passion there is like, there's no way that at 3 a.m. in the night when I'm sleepwalking, that I'm recording this whole experience of what I'm doing. Like, and maybe certain people are, but I also know like genuinely, authentically living that life, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Unless you have an entire team you don't talk about, which is also lying to your audience. So like, yeah.
It's crazy. And so I think that's what I love having the conversation with you about, is like that authenticity, staying true to your values, and like, but building something. Like, and building something that you're proud of. You know what I mean? Like that's dope to me.
Yeah.
So like, was there a time where you're like, man, I'm so glad I stuck to that, and now I'm having an impact on those who are following me, and even those who aren't,
Yeah. This stands out immediately. I'm sure there's others, but I would say 2016 or 2017, I went to Paris with my high school best friend. She had just graduated USC Master's, so it was like a celebration trip. And I had put on my social media, which now I wouldn't do because there's too many crazies. But back then it was like, hey, I'll be in Paris. Come meet me here if you want to say hi or something like that. I don't know who I thought I was, like setting up meet and greets. But I said it.
That girl. I was going to say the B word, but grandma's watching.
Right.
No, you
Brandi, B word.
B word, but not Brandi.
And so I put it out there, didn't expect anybody to show up. We go to this like tea place, and there's a girl with a sign for me, and she sees me in the Uber pull up or whatever it was back then, and she starts crying. And I was like, I instantly felt so weird and nervous, and like my heart was racing, and I'm like, she's that excited to see me? Like, this is so weird. But she was like shaking, and like it was just supposed to be like hi and bye, but like it was just me and my friend. And then we were like, do you want to come eat with us? And she was like, really? And then she told us how she skipped school. Her mom doesn't know she's here. Like all this just to say hi. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Like across the world, somebody is excited to meet me. And I was just like, okay, I guess people are watching and like appreciating my videos or something.
Right,
So,
having a positive
And you're
impact.
starting to make an impact.
yeah.
That's dope. That's really dope. Congrats for that.
Thank
I probably would
you.
have cried with her.
Right? I think I did tear up or something.
I
but
would have been like, no.
yeah, but she
Me?
was so shy. I couldn't even get that much info out of her. I was like, why do you like me? Like, what is it? And she was like, just all your videos and like, you're pretty. And I bought this blush one time because you wore it. Like, just all these things. So I was just like, wow, this is
I'd be
wild.
like, see, Wes, are people crying for you?
Or are you making them cry?
Right. That part. Okay, I have one last question
Okay.
before we wrap. Through everything, early on to now, what has been your me again moment? What has been the moment where you're like, wow, I'm changing, evolving, transitioning into a new phase? And then, like, how did you deal with that? How did you get through it? Are you happy about it? Like, just tell me, like, when you think of our podcast and what we stand
Yeah.
for, like, what has been your evolution?
Yeah, there's so many. First, it was moving to LA, but I want to do something more current because I was trying to fit into the corporate world that I knew I didn't fit in. And my family was so excited for me to get a state job, have retirement, like just do the Sacramento thing. And I just knew it wasn't me. So I had to leave. And when I moved here, I was scared. But every year I was like, okay, I survived another year. I'm not asking for help. I'm not moving back home. And then I would say COVID was my next challenge because like my world jobs shut down. Like there's no movie premieres.
Yeah.
Brands weren't spending anything. Everybody was just scared. And I remember like sitting at my laptop like, okay, I think I have to apply for a real job now. And like, it just made me so sad. I'm just like, if I do this, like knowing me, there's no going back. Like I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to go take another risk. And then like, I just stuck it out for 2 years, like living on my own. I had done good saving, like paying all my bills. So I don't know if it's a me again moment, but it was like a confirmation of like where I'm headed and what I believe in is working. And like, it really is me and not just going backwards to like impress everybody else or live through my parents' standards of like stability and not taking risks and comfortability. Like that was my biggest thing learning, like coming out here, like just being comfortable with the uncomfortable.
And really,
Yeah.
you can do it, and you have achieved that.
have, yeah.
So it's like the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
So keep going, girl. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're just like you said, you're just in the mix of it. You're going. So
Yeah.
I'll be watching you from up close.
Yes, and then I'll be checking out your videos soon. You heard it here first.
My kids will be having some videos.
And Naisha
before
will
me.
have her Instagram and social media popping.
I sure am, Brandi. Let's test to that. For sure.
I think she
Yes.
is. Thanks, girl. I'm so happy
Thank
to
you,
have you. Thanks for
guys.
coming.
Thank you, Brandi.
That was great.
You're welcome.
You're so sweet.